Hey guys, it's been a while. I think I'm gonna come back and make some more videos again. No more stories yet though, because I'm waiting on a green screen to make the videos I want to make. And what do you do for content when you can't make your own ideas? React to someone else's. So today I'm gonna go through every single individual faction in Warhammer 40k and Fantasy and rate them based purely on vibes. Vibes are typically opinion based and thus pretty subjective, but thankfully my opinions are always correct. So this is an objectively, inarguably correct tier list. Now, at the start here, I'll run through our tiers. Representing A tier is the tagline for 40k, Grim Darkness of the Far Future. This, of course, is in reference to the amount of sunlight a Warhammer fan will see in their lifetime. The rest of the tiers are a play on that, where in S tier we have Peak Fiction. I'm going to warn you right now, some factions are going to go straight in there without much thought. B tier is Subpar Troopers. These guys are below average in terms of vibes. Then we have the Farting Poopers in last. I'll warn you again, some guys will go right in here off the bat. Okay, let's get started. In alphabetical order, we have the Adeptus Custodes. We're going off the art here. I like this guy. He looks cool. Yeah, these guys are sick. I like the gold armor. I don't think that's one of them. Not gonna lie. I don't think that's right. Sisters of Silence. Pretty sick. Yeah. I mean, the Custodes are like the Mary Sues of the universe. So they're kind of the baseline. These guys in the Ultramarines. I will put them in Far Future. Then we got Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, I can show you a little bit of it because they are sick. I mean, look at these guys. Look at that. That's so hype. They're like steampunk techno cyborgs. This is my favorite faction, I'm not even gonna lie to you. But yeah. Except for these guys. I don't know what that is. That looks dumb. But yeah. The weakness of the flesh. Let it become steel. S tier. Peak Fiction. Adeptus Sororitas. What do we got here? Of course, there's those. And then I don't know who any of these people are. Do they all have white hair? I mean, that looks cool. I know they're like the churchgoers. These are the kinds of people you see coming out of the Catholic Church at like 9:30 a.m. They've been there since like 7 a.m. They're going to harass a waitress at like a Denny's. They're cool though. They're the only women in 40k. So I'll put them Far Future. We got the Eldari. Yeah, you can see I was already looking at this picture. I mean, look at that. These guys suck. They're so bad. Actually the ugliest shit I've ever seen. No wonder it took people this long to get into Warhammer when they had this to look at. Kane's kind of cool. All these flying guys are like, if they just made angels look less cool. It's like warrior angels or Valkyries, but they made them lame with these stupid cone heads. You guys ever seen the movie Coneheads? That's all I can think of when I see Eldar. That old SNL skit with the aliens. Yeah, they're horrible. Eldar. They might make farting pooper status, not gonna lie. Eldar suck. I think they do, yeah. Eldar are the first farting poopers. Alright, then we got Albion. Never heard of these guys, but when I was looking up a list for this, they showed up. So we got, it looks like some Celts. It's just the Celts. Maybe the Picts? I don't know much about ancient United Kingdom. but in real life, these people were kind of mystical and cool to come across, but in Warhammer Fantasy, these guys are outclassed by pretty much everyone. They don't hit farting poopers, but they are some subpar troopers. And we got Amazons. I'm scared to scroll down more for the video, so we will put those guys right here. I don't think they belong any higher or lower. Then we got Araby. Are they literally just Arabic? Who's this guy? Is this even Warhammer? That looks like the Oliphants from Lord of the Rings. These are some subpar troopers. You can't say much about them. Militarum, though. These guys you can say much about. It's a swarm faction, but it's humans. Not done very often in fiction. I think that alone puts it in a higher tier, but we gotta figure out if these guys are far future or peak fiction. I mean, these guys are literally just Rambo, so that's kind of lame. The commissars, one like this guy, they'll go in far future. Only because of the Rambo guys, they got demoted from peak fiction. Then we got Beastmen. I think these guys are the same in 40k and fantasy for the most part. In 40k, they just get guns. Beastmen are so sick, actually. And they're done so dirty. You played Vermintide or anything like that? Or Total War? Beastmen are the goats. Alright, you know what I'm saying? The goat. Alright, so they'll go in peak fiction. Bretonia. Woof. Now, these guys get a lot of flack for being French, which is understandable. A lot of flack for being horse lovers. Gross. Also understandable that they'd get flack for that. But the most egregious thing that Bretonia does is be boring. So, they're going to farting poopers. Chaos Space Marines. My eyes can't really lock in on anything. A lot of it looks the same. It's red and spikes and blood. But you know what? It looks cool as shit. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. And you know what? Look at these guys. That's peak fiction right there. Alright, Chaos Dwarves. They're like dwarves, but with big hats. That's really the main difference. If you can imagine dwarves and put big hats on them, you got Chaos Dwarves. I'm not a big fan of big hats. Not gonna lie. That guy shooting a football. That's kind of cool. Hold on. Who's this? Is that a woman? Subpar. Okay. Chaos Knights. I'm gonna be real with you. I love the Imperial Knights. They're one of my favorites, up there with Mechanicus, because you know they kind of go hand in hand with Mechanicus. Chaos Knights, however, are like Imperial Knights, but worse in every way. So for that reason, they get far future. And Dark Eldar. These guys at least look so much better than the Eldar, just on visuals alone, except this guy, I don't know. Get rid of the cone heads, it's so bad. That looks hype, that's like Green Goblin in Spider-Man 3, riding that glider. This guy looks sick. Wait, that's Warhammer Fantasy, he doesn't count. This guy looks sick. Take their helmets off, okay? Every time they don't have helmets on, they look hype. Look at those. Fighting the Orc War Boss? That's far future right there. Dark Elves, though. These guys were one of my favorites in Total War. Wait, I mean, you got Malekith. He looks sick. I love his mask. Ironically, the picture from the Dark Eldar isn't here. One of the cooler pictures didn't make the cut when it was showing a Dark Elf. But all these guys, I mean, it's so much better. They're kind of getting into the Conehead territory here. Gotta be careful with that. You know, even this guy, he's towing that line of the Coneheads. But that crown with the spikes, I think is different enough to be cool. They got antlers on some of them. There you go. Take off their helmets, they look cooler. No comment. I think they're far future. Not quite peak fiction. They don't quite make it there. Alright, Demons of Chaos. I mean, what can you say? The Demons of Chaos in Warhammer are so unique for what demons look like in pretty much anything else. I mean, you're never gonna see stuff like this in any other setting. Sometimes you get things like Khorne, those usually have the default looking demons. They got like horns and wings, and they're big and red, like the blood letters. I love them. There we go. Peak fiction. Daughters of Cain. These guys, this is the first Age of Sigmar, like, main faction. I think these are just a direct downgrade from the Dark Elves in the old world fantasy. I mean, I do love me some Gorgons, don't get me wrong. Snake ladies are sick, but some of the models are just horrible. I mean, you're not seeing a whole lot of what makes them good even in these pictures. I think they can be good, but they just have a hard time of showing it. So I think they get subpar troopers. And we got dwarves. We talked about them a little before with the Chaos Dwarves. These guys are that, but without the big hats. And honestly, just them being long beards, pretty cool. Look how big this dude's hair is. Look at that line. Look at this Smith. I know a couple people named Smith. A couple last names Smiths. Not much more to say. Dwarves are sick. Far future. No, peak fiction actually. There is more to say. They're peak. The Empire from fantasy though. The better Empire. Not a hot take. One of the coldest takes actually. Empire from fantasy is so much better. You got Karl Franz, the best emperor in all of Warhammer. Balthazar Gelt. He looks so sick. He's awesome in Total War. I mean, that guy's just giving you a 1,000-yard stare. He's seen pretty much everything, probably. Probably. I don't know. The Empire's right in the middle. You played Vermintide. You can play as Kruger. He's Imperial. I mean, look at that. The Beastmen were already sick, and they're doing that. Empire, peak fiction. Flesh Eater Courts. There's another Age of Sigmar faction. I know they got this big zombie guy that like thinks he's still a king. He is so huge. God damn. What are you gonna do with all that mass? How do you stay fed? I know they have a thing where like they think of themselves as still people. You can kind of see that in this mirror here. When really they look like that. And that part is cool. When really they're like slavering zombies and ghouls and stuff. That's far future. Gene Stealer cults. These guys are kind of lame. Not gonna lie. Aesthetically, they are lame. But in Tacticus, in the mobile game, if you never played Warhammer Tacticus, you should try it out. It's pretty fun. I'm not sponsored, but I enjoy it. I mean, it's like a horde that takes over a bunch of abhumans, from what I know. I mean, look at that guy. He looks dumb as hell. But they are cool as like Tyrannid people. I think they get far future. We got Gloomspite Gits. These guys are only Age of Sigmar and they're only goblins. I know they have these moon helmets, but every time I see this guy, I think he's wearing a banana on his head. Subpar troopers. Grand Cathay. These guys are pretty much only in Total War. They don't actually exist in models or anything, as far as I know. In Total War, they're pretty cool. All their leaders turn into dragons. Chinese armies. The Chinese dragons. They have these giant terracotta sentinels. They're cool. They're not the best, though. Harlequins. I mean, these guys give mad Joker vibes, obviously. They're like clowns, and they're always smiling. I think that part makes them kind of lame. But the fact, I know a little about their lore. They like live in a secret area that the demons want. They live with their god that takes care of them. And that part's cool. But their aesthetic looks so bad. I think they get subpar troopers. We got High Elves from fantasy. Guess what? We run into a lot of Coneheads again. You know what I hate? Cone heads. If they all looked like this, it would be more reasonable. Honestly. But no. Every time they're wearing armor, the armor looks so bad. I hate it. Farting poopers. Idnet Deepkin. These guys are like high elves, but they're underwater. Sometimes I think they have cone heads, but they're not exactly, and they always got the sail on top. The Deepkin are sick. I also just love the ocean and anything underwater. These guys are peak. We got Imperial Agents. Who's this guy? Has anyone ever seen this picture? I don't think so. These guys are kind of just like the leftovers. Anytime you got a group of units that you don't know what they do or where they should be part of, they're probably Imperial Agents. So on the one hand, some of them can look really cool, and some of them can look dumb as hell. Like the assassin in the back looks pretty sick, and this sniper guy looks sick. But then what's this guy doing? Why does he look like that? Why's he got all this shit around his head? And for that reason, these are subpar troopers. Imperial Knights, though, I don't even have to show you the pictures. I will. They are peak. I mean, look at these guys. They're just giant mechs fighting hordes of demons. They got like the knights, and back there you get the titans. It's so cool. God damn, they're like the size of a skyscraper. These guys are already giant, just walking through hordes. And then you got the dude back there. They're the best. Alright, then we got Caradron. Caradron Overlords. These are steampunk flying balloon dwarfs. I mean, that's just it. If you like steampunk, if you like flying, if you like dwarfs, these are your guys. They're alright. I'm gonna loop these guys in with the Fire Slayers, because I just remembered I didn't make one for them. And these are just all the dwarfs of Age of Sigmar. I don't really like the Fire Slayers, it's just a bunch of naked redheads, and then they get the Magmalisk, that's cool. Fire Slayers and Caradron Overlords. Fire Slayers bring them down to subpar. The Caradron are alright too. Kingdoms of Ind. I mean, we saw Araby. We saw Albion. This is that, but for India now. But they do have the Tigermen here. I think they have a lot more Tigermen than whatever Araby was showing. So that's cool. It's just Indian people and tigers. I think they get Far Future. Then we got Kislev. These are Russians with ice magic and bears. They're one of the main armies or factions in Total War. I think they're really cool. Ice magic is my favorite in any setting. I love ice as like a force. And the winged hussars riding bears. Oh, you love that. That's peak. Alright, Leagues of Votann. These are space dwarfs. Everyone's made the joke before. You play Deep Rock Galactic, it's pretty much these guys. They're alright. They're kind of interesting, but not really. They get subpar troopers. We got some heat coming up with the Lizardmen. Look at these guys. They're giant lizards, pretty much dinosaurs themselves, riding other dinosaurs. It says top character designs right here from, I think, the subreddit for it. I mean, they're not wrong. Giant armored lizard people riding giant armored dinosaurs. There's only one place that goes, and that's peak fiction. We got Necrons. These guys are cool, but we're gonna run into this later too. I don't like the Egyptian theme. I think everything about them is cool. The giant metal men. I mean, this guy is like covered in flesh. That's cool. I do like the flesh terrors or whatever they're called. I mean, this picture goes hard too, even with the pyramids. I'm trying to explain that the Egyptian theme sucks, but then I find pictures like this, and I'm like, whoa. Alright, I think they don't quite hit peak. I think they land in Far Future. Then we got Nighthaunt. These guys are like, you know that part in the third Lord of the Rings movie where all the ghosts are like running up Minas Tirith? These guys are just that. If you thought that was cool, you'll like these guys. as normal. I do like Ghost Horseman. Nippon, this is straight up just Japanese samurai. That's it. Sometimes I see the Oni thing with it. They got like kappas and big demon guys here. I don't know if that's even actually canon. I don't even know if Nippon is canon. But it's just Japan. Subpar troopers. You don't belong in Warhammer Fantasy. Norska. These guys are pretty much just Vikings. But look at that. They got like two-headed dragons, giant mammoths, actual giants. And they can turn into chaos warriors. Norska is pretty hype. I like those guys. Ogre Kingdoms. These guys are just fatties with guns. I thought he was wearing sunglasses there. That's an eye patch. They worship this thing called the Great Maw. It's like a giant pit in the ground full of teeth that got there from a meteor. And that's sick. Yeah, I know they're like nomadic tribes. I like ogres. They're far future. Orcs and goblins. Pretty much all green skins. We have dudes like Skarsnik that are cool. It's like the only goblin in fantasy that does anything crazy. That's also better than the fact that no goblins, or the grots, in 40k do anything crazy. But then you also have the dudes like Grimgor and Wurzag. All the big orc leaders. That guy's just riding a big old boar. That's cool. Orcs and goblins, far future. Now the orcs from the far future, guess what? They're not far future, alright? They have giant war machines. I've never liked the checker design. I hate when they do the checkers. It's like, what are we doing? Is this a racetrack? Every time there's a checker design, it would look better if it was almost any other design. But the greenskins themselves, the orcs, actually, in 40k, are so cool. They're like the only people having a good time. Because they just want to be fighting all the time. Look at that guy. I don't know what he's going to do with that baby, but you know it's going to be funny. That's peak. Ossiarch Bone Reapers. This is the army that I have models of in real life. I love them. Mainly this guy back here. Gothazar Harvester. Just a giant bone Goliath. These guys are like intelligent skeletons. I think this general, though, I think he's like the main guy of their Bone Reapers. He looks dumb as hell. Look at these bone plates. It looks so stupid. God. Anytime I could, I would rather have Nagash as the leader. If I ever get to that point with my model army. Because the regular generals look horrible. But the units are cool. Look at this guy. He's got 4 skulls looking every direction. And 4 arms. He's like General Grievous. These guys are peak. And we got Skaven. Alright, so the Skaven, they're rats. It's kind of like if you had thousands, tens of thousands of League of Legends players under your city at all times, just crafting war machines. That couldn't happen because that would mean they're socializing, but they're rats. I love the Skaven. They look so cool. Ratmen. I like playing Ikit in Total War. You get to nuke people's cities in a fantasy setting. And Clan Wars is cool too. They're like the only well-trained armored rats. Skaven, that's peak. You got Sons of Behemoth, or Behemat. It's just giants. If you like giants, you like the Sons of Behemoth. I mean, look at these guys. They're cool, but they're not like... I'm not losing it over them. They're not like the Imperial Knights. They'll go to far future. The Grave Lords. These guys are like the Bone Reapers, but vampires instead of skeletons. They're pretty cool. You got like blood red armor. They command armies of less intelligent skeletons than my Bone Reapers. You got this like sinew dragon. That's cool. I like them. And they hit far future. And Space Marines. Despite what Google Images will tell you, there are more than just these blue guys. There's a bunch of different kinds of Space Marines. The blue guys are cool, but pretty much all the other guys are usually cooler. Not always. Some of them really suck. Overall, they're good. You know what? They are peak. Just because of the ones I really like, they hit peak. I can't think of any of them that are bad enough to get them out of peak. We got Stormcast Eternals. These guys are Space Marines, but for Age of Sigmar. They come down with like bolts of lightning. It's like if you were having a good time, you lived your life to the fullest, you were a good and honorable person, you don't get an afterlife. You're actually punished for that, and you have to fight for eternity for the forces of good. And you kind of lose your soul in the process. It really sucks to be a Stormcast Eternal. Punished for doing the right things is all of their creed. They get subpar troopers. And we got Sylvaneth. I like these guys. They're like the Wood Elves, which we'll come to, I think, at the end. But they're ghosts in the trees. Remember Ghost in the Shell? The movie? With Scarlett Johansson? It's like that. Okay, they look cool, but they're kind of lame in practice. Subpar. Tau. I do love me some mechs, don't get me wrong. You know I love the Imperial Knights and the Chaos Knights, and these guys are another faction like that, but they're like the Xenos Knights. These guys are the aliens. They have these little troopers. I think their guns look stupid. We will come to that again with their mechs. I think their mechs also look stupid because they look exactly like the Institute rifle from Fallout 4. You can kind of see it here. One, look how much of your screen this takes up. Holy shit. Not only does it look bad, in the game, it is also unusable because you just can't see like a whole quarter of your screen. And this is what the Tau are. Farting poopers. Fuck you. Alright, Tomb Kings. You heard me? Not like the Egyptian theme in the Necrons. Once again though, I liked the metal skeleton amassing theme of the Necrons, and these guys are just more skeletons. I love necromancy. I love skeletons. Does that get it past the Egyptian theme? Yes, it does. Because I think it fits even better in fantasy than in 40k. It'll go in peak. That's not peak. I think Far Future is actually the way to go. Alright, then we got Tyranids. These guys are like the Xenoswarm. Have you ever heard of the Zerg from StarCraft? Warhammer actually stole these guys from Blizzard, from the Zerg. They also stole Space Marines as an idea from the Terrans in StarCraft. Most of Warhammer is stolen from StarCraft, and World of Warcraft, actually. Most people won't tell you that, but you can trust me on it. That's just the truth. That said, Tyranids are cool as hell. Look at that. I love Tyranids. They're sick. That's peak. Vampire counts. I made 2 tabs for these guys because in Total War, at least, they're like 2 separate things, but when I was looking up, the Vampire Coast isn't actually its own faction. So here we got the Vampire Counts, and under the same umbrella like we did with the Fire Slayers, we're gonna put the Vampire Coast. And you know I love necromancy. You know I love the undead. I mean, this is just hordes of it. These guys are so sick. I think this is just a screenshot from Castlevania. I don't know why that's here. I mean, there's those guys, and then the even better ones. Vampires and zombies from the ocean. Just like the Ideneth Deepkin, the vibes of these guys are tremendous. I don't even know if this is from Warhammer, but it looks cool. Those guys, peak fiction. And we got Warriors of Chaos. We kind of brought these up with Norska. I mean, they're kind of like Space Marines again. The Chaos Warriors are just tanks in armor, and they're pretty cool. I think they can usually get to a point where they can turn into demons. I know Archaon, the dude that ended the world, is a Warrior of Chaos. kind of just bring all the power. Yeah, here's Archaon. All the power of all the demons into one person. They're pretty dope. I think they hit far future. And last, we got the Wood Elves. It's like the Sylvaneth. It's like the Sylvaneth. I don't know what else to tell you. These guys came first, though. And for the most part, they're more like druidic than the Sylvaneth. They have a different kind of tree folk, I think. I know in Vermintide, you can play Carillion as a Sister of the Thorns, and she's pretty cool. I think on the whole, these guys are better than the Sylvaneth. So they get far future. And that's it. Everyone take your pictures now. This is the definitive tier list of all Warhammer 40k and fantasy. This is inarguable. No one can contest any of these choices. Tell your friends, tell your family. It's been set down now. This is the definitive list. So if someone you like is at the bottom, I mean, that sucks. Sorry they're down there. That's it for today. I'll probably do another one, maybe even more than one in the future, going more in depth on like the individual chapters of Space Marines and stuff. I think that'd be pretty fun. Rating like all the ones that have a Primarch or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure this isn't the only tier list I'll make. Yeah. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever. See ya.